Aloha, thank you for joining me in today's video. Today's video, we have no more cognitive distortions to discuss. Uh, thank goodness, right? We went over 10 different cognitive distortions. We went over personalization, labeling and mislabeling, jumping to conclusions. And in fact, I have to give you an example of how I jump to conclusions. We talked about should statements, emotional reasoning. We talked about disqualifying the positive. We talked about mental filter, all or nothing thinking, and overgeneralization. So starting today, for the rest of these videos in or for the book Challenge Your Thoughts, we're going to talk strategy. Okay, because in the previous videos we were trying to raise each other's awareness, right, about cognitive distortions. We want to understand these things that as humans we do to ourselves and the people that we love, sometimes on a more than we want or regular basis, right? And raising that awareness and having that understanding really helps us to investigate the impact on our lives, which is 99% negative. And then I think what most of us can agree on, because really most of us want the same things, right? We want peace in our lives and for others. We want to be able to provide for our families and be fulfilled at our jobs, right? Wanting to have to go, or wanting to go to a job that we actually love. I mean, there's just things that we pretty much, no matter where we come from, we all want. And so I think we can agree on the fact that we want to stop these distortions before they have a chance to create any long lasting, just negative effect or damaging effect. So again, we're sort of midway through the cognitive distortions, the Challenge Your Thoughts workbook. And in case haven't been able to get it, but are thinking on getting it, you can go to Amazon.com and find it there. It's called, again, Challenge Your Thoughts. We're trying to challenge your thoughts, become the strongest version of you. Okay, so again, from now on until we finish the book, we are going to talk strategy. And this very first strategy that we want to talk about is to be a friend to yourself. Okay, really quick before I move on, this is page 15, right? This is where you start the strategies. But page 14 is just sort of the introduction, right? And the introduction is it just explains, right? We're going to look at the strategy. We're going to, the page is going to explain the strategy, how to use it, and then there'll be a short activity to help you just kind of think and reflect about how to use the strategy. And these are just ways of helping you to think through these cognitive distortions and reframe your thinking. Some of these strategies are argue like an attorney, be a friend to yourself, tackle things in manageable chunks, and then let's just investigate them, be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes, think about the person that you are, think about the person that maybe others believe you are, and let's just tackle these distortions by having these strategies in our toolbox. Now, I hope that you are, just being excited about sort of playing sleuth and then improving your thinking and improving the impact on your life. So let's dig into the first strategy. This strategy is be a friend to yourself. Okay. Now, what's this strategy? I'm going to read this little passage here. Double standards for yourself? Don't do it. Try being a friend to yourself. It is common for people to be extra hard on themselves. But again, don't do it. Release that double standard. Okay, I am hard on myself, and I know I am. I feel it, I see it. I have to work at not doing that. But I also know I do it because others tell me, and people from work tell me, people who are very close to me, like family, they tell me. So and I know, because I've been working on this, I know that other people do the same. Honestly, I don't know if this is true, but I think I'm crazy hard on myself. And so I just know that I am. And so I know that being a friend to myself is a strategy that I really, really need to practice. And so if we just take a look at these quotes right on the right hand side, these are things that I try to remind myself all the time. And if things get, kind of really bad, I'll open the page and then just kind of look at it. And I like the colors. I like the positive affirmation and the feeling I get reading it out loud and sort of internalizing. So I'll speak it, right? And then I'll hear it, and the hearing allows it to come back into me. So you deserve all the good things. I think honestly all of us, most 90% of the people in this world, this is true. This is true for them. So you deserve all the good things, Momi, right? I have to tell myself that. Believe in yourself. Know your worth. Your potential is endless. Continue to say this as much as you need it. Okay, now this is just one thing, right? One part of the strategy, right? Be a friend to yourself. But there are other parts. So this leads us or brings us into this next section of this strategy. Number one, ask yourself, how would you advise your best friend in the current situation? So when as the book says here, the current situation, whatever situation is bringing you dis-ease, discomfort, confusion, worry, frustration, hesitation, that's the current situation that you would, ask yourself about. Hey, self, right? How would you advise your best friend in this current situation? Number two, you're going to ask your best trusted and honest to you friend how they would feel, respond, and react to this particular situation, and what advice they would give you if you feel that your response or reaction was sort of questionable. Number three, you're going to ask yourself why you are so hard on yourself. And you're going to do some investigating and you're going to commit to improvement. And then number four, you're going to find a positive affirmative statement to accept, such as, I know I'm a good person, I'm only human, now let me be better, right? There's no shame in just being only human, right? We all are only human. Or you can read one of these statements to the right. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example of a situation that I recently was in, where I needed to apply these steps. Okay, so let's go to number one. And I'll be as I always try to be like very vague when it comes to other people in my situations, because this isn't really. I don't have these stories. Not only belong to me, right? They belong to these other people. Anyway, number one. So this particular situation, I jumped to conclusions about this person in my life who has a tendency to make bad decisions, and you can see it in his or her life, right? They make bad decisions, and they're not putting the cognitive effort into thinking through their decisions. Okay, but what happened was I accused them of doing something that they didn't do, because I just I jumped to conclusions based on their previous behaviors. Okay, so how would I advise myself, right? Or my best friend? I would say, okay, you know what? Yes, you did jump to conclusions. So I would expect them to acknowledge the truth. Okay, I acknowledge the truth. Yes, I did. And it wasn't right. I was very, very wrong. So I would advise my friend to acknowledge what you did in the situation that was wrong. Okay, and that's what I did. I would also tell my best friend to kind of cut yourself some slack, because if this other person who engages in negative behaviors all the time always does that, it's kind of likely as a human being to just sort of jump to conclusions. Not that that's correct, because it is wrong, but you shouldn't beat yourself up about it. So that's how I use that first part of the strategy, right? Okay, number two, you're going to ask your best trusted and honest to you friend how they would feel, respond, and react to this situation, and what advice they would give you if you have a question, if you're response or reaction was questionable. And like I said, my response, it was bad, right? Because I jumped to conclusions and turns out I was wrong. So I asked someone that's close to me and who knows me, and I know this person is like brutally honest. In fact, sometimes I avoid asking this person because this person is so brutally honest. Well, this person said same thing, what I explained in number one when I had sort of role played the scenario about asking my best friend. They said, okay, well, you did wrong, but cut yourself some slack, because this person always does those kinds of things. And so you just, maybe next time spend more time researching to figure out what really happened, right? So I had that conversation. This person explained this to me, told me to cut myself some slack, but next time maybe do a little bit more digging before you start jumping to conclusions. So already, right, I did 1 and 2, and I'm feeling better about the situation. I'm not gonna let myself totally off the hook, and that's just something. In fact, that is something that I need to work through. But I'm feeling better about the situation. And then what I did after doing 1 and 2 was that I made a genuine apology. Now it was hard. It was harder. Actually, I tried to call the person, but the person wouldn't answer me. So I texted this person and gave like a genuine apology and said, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I should have, and I explained, right? And, part of me almost said, I kind of did it because, and then I thought, no, that's not an apology. So I'm not even going to talk about the fact that they're always making bad decisions. I just am focused on my bad decision. So I did number 1 and 2, and then I apologized. I felt really good. Or at least like I said, I was a friend to myself. And then number 3, I started asking myself, why am I so hard on me? And I always ask myself this because I know I'm always hard on me. And I thought, well, because of my journey and my path, I think one of the reasons why I'm so hard on myself is because I have to use these cognitive distortions, or I have to use these strategies to fix these cognitive distortions, and I can share them with you. And so I think that's why I'm a little bit more sensitive, and I'm so like curious about this, because I do it all the time, and then it forces me to go and look for answers. So I did 1, 2, and 3, and honestly, I am feeling better about the situation. I did feel better because I did this actually a couple days ago. Okay, so I'm going to find number 4, right? After doing 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to find a positive and affirmative statement to accept. Now, what I told myself was that, okay, you know what? I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but thank you God, right? Or thank you to your higher power, that I'm getting better. I am honestly getting better. I know that I'm getting better because I feel it inside, and because I don't have like really I don't have bad relationships. Like I might not have the relationships I want. Like I need to work on that, but I don't have I don't have any ugly relationships. Well, as far as I know anyway. Okay, so now I want you to answer this prompt. Are you hard on yourself? And if so, explain why you think that is. Just like sort of what I did, right, for number 4. You're going to ask yourself, is it healthy? Can you be perfect? Can anyone be perfect? And so I started right here to answer this prompt, and I'm going to share it with you in hopes that it helps you, sort of like a starter, a sentence starter, if you will. I am hard on myself. I don't know why that period is there after on. So sorry. My default is to tell myself I can't, right? Or that I don't know enough, or who am I to do something, to do that, right? Like to do something great. Like it's sort of as if it's sort of normal that I do negative things, right? So I automatically tell myself those things. It's a default. And I know that that's not a good thing. And it's a battle that I must fight. But I fight it because I'm like at this point in my life, I'm so aware, and not perfectly aware. Like I'm sure things like escape me. I do stupid things without even knowing. But for the most part, I really do think I do a good job of recognizing the battle, right? Recognizing what I'm doing, and then honestly putting forth the effort. Because really deep down inside, I know I'm not the smartest person, but I'm an intelligent, smart person. And all of this is what I would share to a friend, right? I know I cannot be perfect no matter how hard I try. There's no example of a perfect person. Like all of the great people who are in my life, they are far from perfect, just like me. And so I'm going to cut myself some slack. Now, we have come to an end, right, of to this strategy, be a friend to yourself. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you actually engage in using this strategy. And I hope that if your default is like me, to be really hard on yourself, I would hope that you recognize it, stop it in its tracks, and use this strategy so that you don't allow it to damage, to cause any kind of significant damage in your life. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Be a friend to yourself. I hope you join me in the next video, which will be when we cover the strategy. Do something you can't do. Okay, do something you can't do. Thank you again, and aloha.